What I took away from last time and is something which is quite intoxicating in a way, is the humility that it brings you just in your day-to-day life. I think it's quite easy for us all to be in the comfort of our own homes and be in the living in the countries that we are, just having the very basics at hand of sanitation, of water, of a job, of an income, of schooling, of parenting, all of those things which are just fundamental parts to most of our lives. And for some of the people that you meet, a lot of those are missing, and so their struggles are real struggles. So I always come away from the rides with a real sense of humility, to be able to give you some perspective on my life and some of the the hardships and challenges that we go through. That as difficult as they might seem to you, you always reflect back on some of the conditions that some of the people have to live, and they live and breathe it every day, and their struggles are very different struggles from just finding a meal to eat for the day, and having to rifle through rubbish in the slums to just find something to eat for the day. So I always come away with a great group of friends that I've, from the very first time that I've started doing rides, I'm still connected with a lot of them, and each and every year I always pick up a great group of friends and memories which are irreplaceable. But for me, it's that that sense of humility and they always usually start the rides in January, so it's always a great start to me for the year, that I start off with a strong sense of humility in my life, and how I kind of push forward to achieve some of the goals that I want to achieve in the year, because I know that I'll go through challenges as I do go through the year. But after that experience, you go through the year and through the challenges with a different perspective. So so for me, it's really just about the humility that it brings me in my life. Yeah, we're in isolation now. I'm here in Singapore. I'm 3 weeks into the 4-week lockdown. We're not locked down to the extent that we can't, like Italy and Spain, but we can still go out and move around. I've actually found it really valuable to sort of start thinking about some of the training. Actually, the two reasons that we're allowed out is for exercise and to go out to the supermarkets. I can't think about in the whole of the history of me doing these fundraising events of getting out in April and starting to do cycling. But right now it's a reason to be outside, and it's a reason to start to get myself into shape. So the first aspect of it is having that physical goal of knowing that when I go out to do the ride, that I'll be in as good a shape as possible. But the second part is just something to look forward to. I think I'm certainly the type of person that, unless I know about something on the horizon, I've got plans to make about some type of event in the future, then it keeps me on track, and it keeps me optimistic and positive. It gives me a bit of a lift. But I think definitely having something to look forward to, and having a reason to be out there kind of cycling, rather than just doing exercise without the goal, because you get two sort of very different outcomes. So it's definitely been valuable to me throughout the isolation period. The thing about these rides is that everybody's there on the same mission, and if you were put in a room full of 1,000 people, it would take you an eternity to try and find that common bond of giving back to society and giving back to people who are less fortunate than you. So between all of us, we all have this common bond of wanting to give back, and that's a really strong value to have in your life. And so therefore I think all of the other connections just happen around that. Obviously, the best way that you're going to see a country is seeing each meter and mile as you ride it. Some of the landscapes, kind of blend into one, but then some of them are just astounding. And no matter which other method that you might have of travelling throughout a country, you're not really going to absorb the different landscapes as you would by cycling through it. Now that this COVID situation would have had its impact in terms of tourism and all of those jobs that the tourism industry supports, which Cambodia relies on so heavily, they're going to have a very different experience, I believe, and it's going to be very, very, very tough for them. I think the level of poverty that's going to be there, and the amount of people that are going to be pushed into poverty because they're not working in these hospitality type roles or supporting the tourism industry, and I imagine most of them will be living sort of week to week, hand to mouth, that it's probably just going to exacerbate the problem of poverty within Cambodia. So I've been there and I've seen it for myself, and the struggles that they have are probably going to get worse. So here I am with a roof over my head and food in the fridge and a bed to sleep in, and I'll do my best to support them, and I hope that they don't really feel that the full gravity of the situation like some countries have in some of the other poorer countries, but they certainly have bigger issues that they have to deal with. So I'm choosing to divert my efforts to the people who are really experiencing world-changing issues. The more you get to spend time with the founders, the more you get to spend time really understanding the hardships of the people that we are going through. And we know that every dollar, hundreds or thousands of dollars that we raise are going to go a long way, because the charities that we're working for are still in their infancy. So you can really, I think, see some of how some of the contribution is going to go. It's going to go a long way. And then down to that, that final part when you get to see exactly where some of the money is being spent as well is so rewarding, and you get to meet some of the people that have been directly impacted by some of the work that you've done. So it was great, and I would and I am doing it again in a heartbeat.